StayWavyTV, good vibes all the time. Stay wavy, yeah, you're on my mind. Ooh,
good, Joe. We gotta talk about this new movie that just came out on Netflix. It's called Ballad of a Small Player. It's starring Colin Farrell, who's coming off of one of the greatest performances of his acting career in the new TV series The Penguin, which he did win an award for. Shout out to Colin Farrell for that. So I was just, chilling, scrolling through some new movies that came out, and I saw this, and I said, oh, this looks interesting. So basically, Colin Farrell is playing a guy named Lord Doyle, right? It starts off the movie in this trash luxury hotel in Maku, which is a place in China. It's a special administrative region of China that is home to one of the largest gambling industries in the world, right? So Lord Doyle has apparently blown all of his gambling winnings on champagne and gourmet food, and it's down to one last roll of cash. He tries to sneak out the casino, but is stopped by the hotel, who informs him that he owes over $350,000, okay? And if he doesn't pay what he owes in 3 days, they're gonna call the police to get this guy locked up. So from there, you can see in his face, bro, this dude is stressed out. His heart is beating extremely fast. He's drinking a bunch of alcohol. And sure enough, right, he goes to one of the only casinos left in town that will still let him play on credit. And it's called the Rainbow Room, right? So he gambles away the rest of his money playing his favorite card game, Baccarat. The rules: players get 2 cards. Aces are worth 1. 2 through 9 are face value. 10, Jack, Queen, and King are worth 0. If either hand has an 8 or 9, the game ends. The highest total wins. If there is no 8 or 9 on the table, a third card is drawn, and the hand closest to 9, the highest possible score as the only last number in the score count wins. Lord Doyle loses all of his money to his opponent, a mean old woman the club calls Grandma, right? This woman, Grandma, in this movie, bro, she was bullying this dude the entire movie because he could never beat her, okay? He ends up going on a winning streak towards the end of the movie, but even at the end of the movie, when he pretty much wins the most money he's ever won gambling, the lady is still clowning this dude, right? So one of the club workers, Dao Ming, right, who's played by Fala Chen, offers to let Doyle keep on playing on credit, meaning she will lend him money that he would have to pay back with interest. Doyle accepts, but then leaves without paying his bar tab. You know what I'm saying? The next evening, Doyle witnesses a man take his life by jumping off of the roof of a hotel. The man's distraught wife blames Dao Ming for his death because Dao Ming lent the man credit. She enabled his gambling addiction until he lost so much that he saw no other way out. So clearly, this town that Lord Doyle is staying in, it's a town full of gambling addicts, and it's so bad that people end up losing so much money and owing so much money that they rather just take their own life than deal with the consequences of not being able to pay the money back. Because think about it. If they can't pay the money back, they're probably going to go to jail, okay? So this hits Dao Ming really hard, and she flees the scene. Doyle, who tries to comfort her, follows Dao Ming home. Doyle and Dao Ming spend a strange night together. At her apartment, Doyle finds a postcard for Llama Island. They end up at the Festival of the Hungry Ghosts, which Dao Ming explains is the week-long festival. At the end of the week, people will burn offerings to the dead. They end up on a bench together near the shore. Dao Ming grieves all the harm she has inflicted on the gambling addicts of the world and grieves for herself too. Now, this man has, offed himself, and she is responsible for his debt to the casino. Doyle insists that Dao Ming that he is different. He insists he knows he is about to win big because he's looking at it like this, right? Doyle looks at it like because he's lost so many gambling matches recently that he almost has to go on the big winning streak, right? So he pretty much makes a promise to pay off all of Dao Ming's debts when he does. Even though Dao Ming doesn't really believe him, she allows them to both indulge in the fantasy for the night, right? So Doyle wakes up in the morning on the bench alone with a number written on ink in his hand, right? Invigorated by his promise to Dao Ming, he returns to the casino refreshed and ready to win money. Before he can, he's confronted by a private detective who goes by Betty Tilda Swinton, who has tracked him down for stealing from an elderly person. Realizing he's caught, Doyle drops his posh accent and slips into his natural Irish working class accent. He's not a lord at all. He's a pretty thief from Ireland named Brendan Thomas Riley, right? So this guy's pretty much a scammer, okay? He comes up with a fake ass name. He left the country because he did some illegal shit where he stole from somebody. And he basically just was over there with a whole different fake identity, you know what I'm saying? So Doyle Riley manages to win a decent chunk of money at Baccarat that day and tries to pay the private detective whose real name is Cynthia. Cynthia refuses the money, so Riley tries a different tactic. He asks her to dance. This doesn't work either. She tells him he has 24 hours to pay back the money he stole, or she'll call the authorities to have him deported. So now he owes two people money, right? He owes $350K to the hotel he's staying at, and he owes more money to some people that he stole from in a whole different country. You know what I'm saying? So Doyle wants to pay Dao Ming like he promised, but can't resist the call of gambling. Doyle blows his winnings on more gambling and once again loses everything. In despair, he spends a day binge drinking champagne, binge eating gourmet food that he doesn't even like in a hotel bar, ordering more and more and more to delay the inevitable arrival of the bill that he can't pay because he's afraid he's going to go to jail at this point, right? So he's drunk and sick to his stomach. Dao Ming appears to him in the bar. Doyle, feverish, collapses and passes out. When Doyle wakes up, he's on Llama Island with Hong Kong. He's in Llama Island in Hong Kong with Dao Ming. She tells him she brought him there from urgent care. She nurses him back to health, allowing him to detox his gambling addiction in the same way a heroin addict might, complete with withdrawal symptoms. Dao Ming tells Doyle her story that she went away from home at a young age, causing her father to die of a broken heart. She worked for years and earned a chunk of savings that she sent to her mother in hopes that she will forgive her, but her mother sent the money back, right? So Dao Ming has a bunch of money just sitting there, you know what I'm saying, in the stash, right? And remember, when Doyle and Dao Ming spent the night together on that bench, remember, he woke up with a code written on his hand. That code is a code to the safe that Dao Ming is talking about, right? So Doyle ends up using this money to start gambling again so he can pay back his debts, right? So, long story short, Doyle pays off his hotel debt and he just keeps on winning from that point, right? But the hotel is suspicious of his nonstop winning. They believe Doyle has a ghost attached to him, right? So think about this, right? This man was losing so much money that he owed the hotel $350K, right? And the dude just straight up went broke. Then when he finally started winning, right? The people that own the casino and all that, they were so pissed off that this guy kept winning that they accused him of having a ghost attached to him. So he says, listen, if you guys feel like I got a ghost attached to me, and they're even claiming that they saw the ghost on video. So he says, listen, if you got a video of me with a ghost on me, show me the video. They refuse to show him the video. They end up banning him from gambling at any of the casinos in the town, right? So they pretty much cut this guy off from gambling because they're pissed off that he can't stop winning, right? So Doyle goes back to binge eating gourmet food, but nothing seems to satiate his hunger. He's haunted by visions of the hungry ghosts, which Dao Ming told him are spirits with thin necks, big mouths, and empty stomachs, driven by greed. Needing desperately to gamble, Doyle convinces the hotel to let him play one last game of Baccarat. He basically says that he'll bet everything he has, all of the money that he won on his winning streak, he's gonna bet it on a single hand, and if he wins, he promises to leave Macau forever. And if he loses, it will prove there is no ghost. The hotel agrees, right? So it's a win-win situation for him, right? If he wins, right? I mean, yeah, if he wins, he'll leave Macau forever, right? He'll pretty much cash out, get even more richer than he already is, and he won't come back. And if he loses, he'll prove that there's no ghost and he can continue gambling either way. So he's looking at it like a win-win situation. You feel me? So before he can play, private detective Cynthia confronts Doyle and Riley for the money that he stole, right? He swears to her that he's about to win the biggest pot anyone's ever won from a hand of Baccarat. And when he does, he will give her life-changing sum of money. Cynthia, like Riley, came from a working class background and she can't resist this offer, right? Who's going to turn down that offer, right? So Doyle plays and he wins. Surprisingly, I thought he was going to lose. And he pays off all of his debts and keeps his promise to Cynthia, paying her a life-changing amount of money. She decides to take him up on his offer to dance. A triumphant Doyle marches over to the Rainbow Room to give the rest of his winnings to Dao Ming. There, he is tempted by Grandma to play another round of Baccarat, but he refuses, right? Because he already promised that he wouldn't gamble again, right? At this point, he just wants to pay back Dao Ming, who pretty much gave him all of her money that she got from her parents, right? So the grandma tells Doyle that that's impossible because Dao Ming is dead, right? She says that she drowned herself on the first night of the Hungry Ghost Festival. So remember, Dao Ming and Doyle went to the Hungry Ghost Festival and spent the night together, right? They fell asleep on the bench, right? And remember, when Doyle woke up, she was gone. He just woke up. He seen a code written on his hand, which was the code for the lock with all the money. And that was the night that she drowned herself, right? So when he woke up and she was gone, she drowned herself, right? Which is actually really sad, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Dao Ming died the night that she left Doyle on the bench. She wrote her lock combination on Doyle's hand and then drowned herself. We see flashes of her scenes from for Llama Island and see that Doyle, he was never on Llama Island with Dao Ming. He was alone the whole time. While some might interpret this to mean that Doyle simply hallucinated Dao Ming taking him to Llama Island, in my opinion, Ballad of a Small Player is a universe where ghosts are real, and therefore the spirit of Dao Ming visited Doyle as a ghost, which no one else could see besides him. Dao Ming wanted to find redemption for failing her parents and failing a gambling addict she enabled, so her spirit wants to save this particular gambling addict from himself. In an interview for the Ballad production notes, director Edward Berger confirmed the film has a wonderful supernatural element to it, so Dao Ming's spirit tried to heal Doyle of his addiction, but he still went back to his old ways. Doyle is devastated that he can't pay Dao Ming the money he owes until he realizes that actually there is a way. It's now the last day of the Hungry Ghost Festival, which is the day that people make offerings to the dead. Doyle brings all of his winnings to the temple and burns it as an offering to Dao Ming. He returns to the bench where he last saw Dao Ming alive, where he watches the fireworks from festival with a smile. There's also a mid-credit scene in which Farrell and Swinton tear it up on the dance floor, which is fun, but doesn't have any significant meaning to the plot, in my opinion, right? So what does that mean? I take the final scene as an indication that Doyle finally does heal at the end of the movie in the way that Dao Ming's spirit hoped he would heal on Llama Island. If Doyle had kept the money, he would have inevitably gotten sucked back into his gambling addiction, right? But instead, he found a way to give the money back to Dao Ming by burning it. He finally found a way to free himself from his generational inherited shame. It wasn't winning a bunch of money that freed him. It wasn't creating an entirely new posh identity. It was facing his truth, which he does when he is his true authentic self, Riley with Tilda Swinton, and walking away from the money he earned with dishonesty, which he does by burning his winnings. But hey, that's just my interpretation of the movie. If you guys got a different take, let me know in the comment section, man. I think this movie was phenomenal. I think that Colin Farrell should win an Oscar for this movie. And by the way that this movie was shot was pure cinema, bro. This is a very beautifully shot movie. Shout out to the person that directed this movie. Shout out to the people that filmed this movie. Like, I gotta watch this movie again, bro. I've only watched it one time so far, but man, you can tell that the budget for this movie was very. You can tell this was a very expensive movie. Shout out to Netflix for filming the movie, man. This movie was incredible. This is definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I would say on my top 5, man. As of right now, I would say my favorite movies are Fantastic Four, F1. This movie's in the top 5. What else came out this year, y'all? Couple movies I can't think of at the moment. The movie with Tiana Taylor and Leonardo DiCaprio, that was an interesting movie. But you guys got to check this movie out, bro. Colin Farrell, man, he is on a winning streak right now, bro. This guy, he's doing his thing right now, man. I feel like the Penguin really just like took him to the next level. and he's continuing to go upward, man. So shout out to Colin Farrell for an incredible performance in this movie, Small Player, Ballad of a Small Player. Let me know what you guys thought about the movie in the comment section. It's your boy Wavy. Stay Wavy TV. I'm out.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Stay Wavy TV. Ride the vibe, feel the scene every night.